Good morning, everybody. I'm unable to sleep, so I'm up early, really early, to make some green juice. And I got a lot of time, so I'm going to take this video and show you like every step of the way. I can't show you the actual operation because I need two hands for that. So anyway, this is my Green Star Elite. It's got screws or gears. See those gears down there? Oh boy. I'm sorry, it won't. This is a 20-year-old juicer, so, or 15-year-old juicer. So it's got some embedded. I could replace these parts here, but why? It's clean. Anyway, this is where the pulp comes out, and this is where the juice comes out. And then for making my green juice, I start off with cucumber, celery, chard, and kale. And you see the volume that we're dealing with here. This will make 2 liters of green juice with some alkaline water added in the end to dilute it, because you're not supposed to drink juice 100% straight. You got to water it down. It's a little too much for your system, and with the watering it down, it actually uptakes better. So some of this chard is from my garden, like this one here, and I hand wash everything, cut and trim. And these cucumbers, all these cucumbers are from my garden, so I know exactly where they came from. And so I'm going to juice what my chore is. I juice the chard first, that whole bunch, and then I follow it up with half the cucumbers and then half the celery, and then that makes a whole liter or 800 milliliters in there. Then I juice that half, or that pile of, and that's 12 or 13 leaves of kale. I have to wash that again. And so that's a pretty decent size. This is a grocery store bunch, and it's half of a farmer's market bunch. And so let me get this. Let me get the chard and half of this done, and I'll show you. Well, I'll show you every step of the way. I'll show you the chard, then I'll show you the cucumbers, and then I'll show you the celery. And that's how I'll make this video. I wish I had some way to hold my phone, you know, while I'm working, so you could actually see it. But anyway, this doesn't take very much time at all. So let me get started. Okay, I just finished juicing the chard. And then you want to see how much volume there is. It's not very much volume because the chard is mostly leaf, right? Okay, now I'll do the cucumbers and then you'll see. Okay, so I just finished the half of the cucumbers. Put this over here. And you see what volume we're dealing with? It's not that much still, but it's a lot more than it was. And then I just put one, like the heart of the celery in there. Celery juice. Now I do it in this order, the softest, medium to hard, because the hard will push everything out of the system that was hard to come out on its own. There's this right here, if I loosen it anymore, it's going to pop off, so it's in the loosest position while still being on. But this is like a plug, and it's shaped in such a way that it allows the pulp to come out. But when it's fully tight, it doesn't come out very well, and it takes a long time for the juice for the liquids to make their way down. Okay, so let me finish half the celery. Okay, that's all the juice that's going to come out of half of that celery and half the cucumbers and that whole bunch of chard. So it's not the full liter, right? I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to let it drip for I don't know if it's still dripping. Looks pretty clear. Okay, so then the next thing I do is I strain even that, because most of the pulp is there, but there's still some little tiny bits in there that make their way through the screen. And so I do double filtering. I first filter with this, it's more of a rough filter, and then I've got a finer one, so, or strainer. So hang on, let me go strain that. Okay, now we're ready to start the kale. Now the kale, the skinny ones like this, sometimes they just get pulled right in, see? It went all the way in by itself. So I can do some of these, look at that, it gets yanked in there. Isn't that cool? The chard will not do that because it's not fibrous enough. Once the screws get a hold of it, now I'm going to start getting into some thicker pieces, and I'll probably have to use my little log jammer here. Yep, I'm going to have to do it for that one. And I don't know, these ones are probably not going to work, they're too thick, so I'll finish that and then I'll show you the next step. So that's all the kale, and look, there's really not a whole lot of juice, but if you try to drink that, you will be repulsed. Trust me on this. It is way too strong, way too strong. Your stomach will, you might even feel like throwing up. It's that strong. I'm not joking. That doesn't mean it's bad, it's just that it's highly concentrated and needs to be watered down. And that's the job of these things here. And these also add extra nutrients. The celery adds a inflammation fighting compound. It reduces inflammation, and they're alkaline, and that's alkaline, the cucumbers. Now I do want to say something here about the cucumbers. I grew these are straight 8s. I remove all the seeds because the seeds have got a lectin in them, which is not, it can cause leaky gut for those people who are insensitive to that lectin. Lucky for me, I'm type A blood, A positive, and I'm also a genotype of explorer, and this is one of the best things that I can eat, actually. But I still take the seeds out because they're nasty. Okay, we're done. And it stopped dripping, so now's the time to take it out and pour it into another bowl and strain it. I'm going to double strain it. I'll show you that. Oops. Okay, so this is how much, that we got out of it, the juice, and it's single strained. I need to double strain it, but I'm going to double strain it after I add alkaline water. Now, alkaline water, I add it to this mark right here, because at that mark it's roughly 2 liters. So here we go. Okay, that should be enough. Now the next step. Hang on. So here we are. I want to show you my second strainer. This one is a ultra fine one. Now it's coming apart. I've had it for a long time. I just can't find any more of them. I don't have a handle on it anymore. It broke off. They don't weld them on very well. But anyway, I wet it first, so that, because if you don't, then it takes a while for it to get wetted, and until then it's so fine that the liquid doesn't want to come out. So I just take 1 cup at a time, put it in here, shake it, and then it goes into the original juicing jar, which holds about 1 liter. Before I do that, I want to show you, look at that, you can't even see through the juice. It does not separate. It's good for 72 hours when it's in a closed container in the refrigerator. Before I do that, I want to show you, look at that, you can't even see through the juice. It does not separate. It's good for 72 hours when it's in a closed container in the refrigerator. Folks, it's now done. Oh, you know what? I could turn this fan off. There we go. I got so many noises going on in this house. I gotta dehydrator in the dining room, got a freeze dryer in my guest bedroom. I had the fan going on here because I was cooking some dal for today. So this is what we're left with. This is jammed up to the top. It's actually a full liter, even though it's a quart jar. Quart is like right around there, and it's a full liter. And then this here, it's not exactly a full liter, but I usually have a full liter and I drink some, and then I finish straining it, and then I've already drank some from there and I forgot, oh that's right, I was going to take a video of that too. So anyway, that's the deal. Now I will drink this. I will just gulp it down basically. It'll be gone in under a minute. This one I bring to work with me and I drink it maybe about an hour later. And this is my morning breakfast every day of the week, except when I'm out backpacking. I can't do this. So let me show you what I use for that. So this is what I use when I'm out backpacking. It's the Super Greens juice powder, extra strong formula, and it's made by iJuice, which is run by Dr. Young. It's one of his product lines, and it's freeze-dried green juice powder. Let me, it was on tight. And I'll just give you an idea of what it looks like on the inside. And it has a little scooper. That scoop, this jar is like more than half used. So this scoop size, I take five of those to a liter of water. Now this tastes way better than this. It's actually kind of sweet, but it's kind of odd because it has a lot of stuff that you would think is got to be bitter. Let's see here. Well, it doesn't, let me see, does it say elsewhere? On the website it does say, oh, maybe it's here. Ingredients. So it's got kale, wheatgrass, barley grass, broccoli sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, celery, okra, baby spinach, organic mulberry, which is the leaves, mulberry chlorophyll, so it's kind of like an extract of mulberry, and a hint of lemon, and maybe the hint of lemon makes it sweet. It's this is really good. Now this jar won't last me, I think it'll last me maybe a week at the most, because it goes quickly when you do 2 liters a day. And then what I do is I'm out in the wilderness and I just filter my water and then I add some chemistry to make it alkaline. I use just give me a second, I'll go get it. So here's what I use to make the water alkaline, and it's called Purify, and it's by pH Miracle. Water purification drops. This will kill any bacteria, fungus, mold in the water, as long as you use it by the directions. So it says here, suggested use adults 5 drops per liter of water or as recommended by your healthcare professional. Always dilute in water. Now it's very strong. It can burn your skin. If you just like drop it on your skin, better wash it off right away because it's extremely potent. So we have potassium carbonate, 30% of your daily value in that 5 drops, 30% of your daily value. It's got sodium bicarbonate, 6%, and potassium hydroxide. Now, some people, when they get started doing the pH Miracle, they start off with just using baking soda, which is sodium bicarbonate. But the problem with just using baking soda and not and just using just the baking soda, You can do that for the short term, for a short period of time, maybe a month, 2 months, something like that. And people healed themselves of the Spanish flu with sodium bicarbonate. You go back in, if you research, they haven't pulled everything off the internet, and there's a ton of references. The first baking soda that was there was made for cleaning your body. It wasn't made for baking or things like that. And it says so even on Arm & Hammer baking soda from back in the 1910 and actually from late 1800s. So they knew about the strength of that, but you don't want to do it every day because, and I'll tell you why now, because when you do that, your body also needs these two other compounds, potassium carbonate and potassium hydroxide. It needs both of them plus the sodium. If you only have the sodium bicarbonate, then your body will leach the potassium carbonate and the potassium hydroxide from your bones and from your organs. So now this bottle here costs like $70, but it's got 2 fluid ounces, and you only use, well, you use 5 drops of water with filtered tap water, which is already slightly alkaline. It's like 7, usually it's like 7.1 if you measure it. Out in the wilderness, though, you're not that lucky. Water in the wilderness, especially if it comes from a spring water, is usually about 6.5. 6 to 6.5. Now that's acidic. You don't know. I mean, it has a whole different flavor too. And people say, "Oh yeah, that tastes really, really, really clean." Well, that's because it's acidic, and it's actually like removing some of the mucus inside of your mouth when you drink it. So that's why it feels like it's clean, but it's really not that good for you. So instead of 5 drops per liter, when I'm out in the wilderness, I use 8 drops per liter, and that works out nice. I've tested it. I have pH strips, and I've tested it out there, and it takes about 7, but I like to really amp it up so that the water is in 8.5, because that's what this is now from my Chanson water ionizer. It makes it 8.5 to almost 9, which is not too bad for your body, but it's got an electrical charge to it that gives you a lot of energy. All right, so I'm done preaching, and now I'm going to drink, and I'm going to get on with my day and go to the office.